The program focuses on looking at the screen, and I'm suddenly paying attention to an email on my computer. The content of the letter is, Special Staff of the Area, Jiangnan has come to Tianhai City. You're welcome to the skyscrapers of Tianhai City. Exactly 2:30 this afternoon. The list of 10 included. South Bao from the place of escape of the. From the place of Yang Sheng's tribulation. Nuyen Den Hai from the place of millions of weapons. The danger of not beaming the head of the snow cult. Together with Zhang Yi, there is no specific title. At the bottom is the signature of the Jiangnan Great Military Region. When he saw this letter, Zhang Yi's eyes widened. Jiangnan Military Region. That's not. Is the headquarters of one of the five. The top military of the United States. In Kim Mausoleum, SAO. For the people of the United States. These are the basics. The five great armies of the United States, representing the nation's most powerful military force. In times of peace, they are the backbone of the nation. After the end of the world, they are still the solid foundation of the United States. About the power of the Jiangnan area, there's no need to argue. The reason for Trong, you can win in the past. Destroying the Tay-Sun base. An important part, it's thanks to the help of a rocket. From the Jiangnam area. South Africa, if you want. Maybe in the blink of an eye, remove the city of Tianhai from the map. How to make Trong Dui may not be so terrified of such a hierarchical power. Yang Han nodded. I'm sure that's them. Raise your eyebrows. How to be sure that the package was actually from them? It's not a joke or a conspiracy. Yang Xin nodded yes. I think it must be them. Trong and CACA, I can confirm with you. This package must be from Jiangnan province. Because of our internet system, protected by a strong firewall. Anyone who wants to contact us, they all need to be approved. If we do not allow, their information cannot be transferred to. But this package has bypassed the firewall we set up, directly to our mailbox. There's only two kinds of people who can do this. The first is that hackers have overtaken us. Monday, it's a higher authority in the internet. Obviously, in the United States, no one can do this in time. A short time without being discovered. So we can conclude that the sender must be from the south. Welcome to continue. They just don't know their purpose. When suddenly arrived at the Tianhai city, what is this time? I suspect it might have something to do with the zombie problem. Yang Xin expressed his speculation. The movement becomes serious. They can actually do that. What this means is, our network is also not secure. Duong Han agreed and laughed. Their real refuge is the internet. Use an independent server. They have no contact with the outside world. It can't be destroyed. Before the psi fluid. Zhang's eyes were worried. He still feels that this problem is now becoming more difficult to solve. With the intervention of outside forces, along with the overwhelming power of the giant monsters, from five great powers in Tianhai City, the situation becomes uncontrollable. Speculation, epidemic. I feel like this time they're here. It may be related to the current Shopi. Although SAO Shopi is too large and mysterious origin. If you let it grow. Maybe all of the nearly 20 million dead bodies in Tianhai City will turn into a giant zombie horde. Not to mention zombies. It's a mix of terrible monsters. Once zombies and mice wide LAN to other cities, it's going to be an uncontrollable disaster. Yang Han nodded. You can see from this letter. They know the situation of the entire Tianhai City. So when you name it, They, to pinpoint the leaders of each power. Hold your head in the salon chair for a moment. I think we should take a trip there. No need to make enemies. A grudge against a rising military district. He said slowly. In terms of the computing power of other houses, in Tianhai City, it's very unlikely that they set a trap. But from a safety perspective, Ta will carry the strongest possible armed forces to ensure maximum safety. The police are not too worried about safety. Now the whole city of Tianhai except their house. The other forces have weakened considerably. Campaign and its team out. In the face of any power. They're not in great danger either. So Zhang Yi. Assemble everyone in the living room and announce this news. Upon hearing the news, people from Jiangnan Great Zone to Tianhai City, people have different reactions. Some people are excited while others are worried. From Fat, one of the nervous ones told the translation chapter. We are now living in stability. The emergence of new forces. We can change our current circumstances. Swinging his head with the word fat. Even though Tianhai City is a port city, with abundant supply, but compared to the Jiangnam area, what we have is insignificant in their eyes. Even if the epidemic takes all the warehouse in the supermarket, those supplies still don't matter. With the Jiangnam area, Jiangnan has always been the busiest commercial area. South Africa controls the entire area. Free freight. In terms of supplies, they're certainly not in short supply. For normal people, extreme climate welding can cause many difficulties, including the lack of necessary supplies. For a giant energy-rich neighborhood, these problems can be easily solved. After hearing the explanation from the translation chapter, from fat to new peace of mind. If so, it's good. I'm just worried that the current peaceful life will be disturbed. People who are living comfortably, I don't always want change to happen. Shuang Yi also understands this. King Daixu, people who come from the military are more consistent. We think we should trust them. Chu Vu continued. Jiangnan is the leading area. They don't want to see a big city, like the city of Tianhai, become a place of mass zombie infestation. Salary also nods. I hope so too. In a zombie siege situation, people hope to have higher level power to help them solve their current problems. Even though the refuge isn't so affected at the moment. But living in a big city like this, no one can be sure of the future. Chapter translation nod. So if there's a way to solve the zombie problem, that would be the best. We get this news. You have to check anyway. Then he turned to Yang Xin. You are responsible for monitoring the network. Although we can confirm that. Parcel from Jiangnan area, but still need to prevent unforeseen intrigues. Although this ability is not high, the campaign still carefully directed Yang Xin, Han. Tianhai City Tianfeng Center Building. The investigation team of the Jiangnan area has come here. Center Building used to be a symbol of vastness and majesty. It is now mostly covered in snow. Only half of it appears. The top is also full of snow. If there's no precise positioning system, maybe they were hard-pressed to find this place. The military and their men got out of the car. The snowmobile, designed specifically for their mission, stopped right outside the building. The building is almost covered in snow. The deputy captain of the school's police department scratched his head. I can't believe this place has become like this. It's really broken. Maybe a lot of people will come. Things are going to get messy. The enemy is out now. There was a comfortable smile on his face. I just need to tidy up a little. He opened his right hand to the distant building. A yellow ball of light appears, slowly in his hand. Then, move forward as one, cylinder with an own. As the bright white sphere passes by, the thick snow was swept away immediately. In the blink of an eye, the snow in front of everyone has been cleared, to reveal a circular passage. After completing this, enemy Korn with a smile on his lips towards the border of arms, and invite him with a polite gesture. Captain, please. On the face of the army, there's no special expression. Leading the way towards the central building. The school is right behind. The others followed in turn. From the order of their steps, you can see where everyone is on the team. The first is the captain of the army. Next up is the deputy chief of the adult defense department. Enemy Korn ranked Ba. Then expert VI withdrew his weapons. The same luminous period goes parallel. In the investigation team, NEAI also. It's the leading force of the great powers. Especially the two captains with Wu enemy. Their capabilities at least reach the level of the base leaders. Even higher. Every power at the same time, led by part of his fighting force. To the central building to meet. Investigation team. The first person to arrive was from Yang's base. He also came here with a group of followers. At the main base, family Sandbar family take on the role of staying. To the central building, she noticed the difference in the off-road car. Compared to others, there's only one car. Looks like the district didn't send a lot of people here. Red pepper training feel heavy. You know exactly how threatening this is. If it's not sending a large army to deal with it, it's going to be very difficult to deal with. But this car, how many people can I carry? Even though it feels a little disoriented, Red decided to move forward and meet the investigation team. In your heart, she thought maybe this was just a vanguard. There will be more combat troops in the future. Come here. Red pepper training leads people towards the center of the building. Approaching the building, she recognized an icy hallway. It's over 100 meters long and 10 meters deep. This is red pepper bending down, gently groping the shape of the snow ice hallway. Its warped shape is not mechanically generated. It's like it was created by a punch from that AI. Surface back extremely glossy and smooth clear. This is the work of a very capable person. Is a leading expert in the industry. He's also a high-ranking mutant from Tianhai City. Red pepper. I naturally understood the power of this technique. You can't help but admire the whispered red pepper. There's a master among these people. Then she led him on to get to the center of the building. As they approached the front door, a man in uniform came out. His eyes were like laughing, but not laughing at them. The enemy asked with an arrogant face, "What organization are you from?" That arrogant face make the base's 5th team flourish. To feel discontent, they want to come and attack him. Pink pepper practice frown. We're from the Yangtze base. I am the leader of red training. The eyes of the enemy, still glued to the red pepper training. He handed his hand calmly. Red pepper, former captain, Tianhai City Criminal Investigation Team. Welcome to come. Pink pepper practice light frown. I can feel the deep meaning in the enemy's words. They know information about you like the palm of their hand. You wonder in your heart, is this how they came out? The head from the beginning? The enemy just slipped out. Tell the red pepper to come in. You can only go in alone. Others please wait outside. Red training does not refuse. Go back and talk to the people behind you. Wait for me outside. A mutant captain whispered to the leader. Is it a trap? Xiao Hong practiced a cold smile with a confident finger. Even if there is deception, we want to go too, and no one can hold us back. It wasn't long after the men of the base arrived. The second group from the Million Weapon base also arrived. Nguyen Din Hai is extremely cautious. Even Tran Tin Quan, his most powerful assistant, was also carried. Whatever during this time, he suffered 7 consecutive defeats in combat, and being attacked by zombies. It makes Hai feel confused. Similar enemy Korn blocking the entrance. Just allow the devil to go in alone. Sorry, only invited people can enter. Tran Tin Quan immediately expressed dissatisfaction. What are you suspicious of? Afraid that we will do more than you, or Sao? The enemy is always arrogant. Make no one feel comfortable after meeting. In Tianhai City, Tran Tin Quang is also an important figure. He doesn't care about the enemy's behavior. Though Wu enemy is a famous figure in the southern region. But this is the Tianhai City where they're standing. Are the people who come here, they see themselves as important characters. Don't know that they're just like dragons wanting to crush snakes. Listen to the words of Tran Tin Quan, a mocking expression on the enemy's face. It's becoming clearer. We just want to talk to the leaders. Other forces. Why is it that the head of the Million Vu base is you? The look on Chen's face immediately changed. His leader, Wei Dai Hai, is right next door speaking up. Let's ignore the tricks, agitation and separation like this. We come here with a sincere heart. If you just want to talk to me, then we'll go ahead on our own. In the snow and ice, Nguyen Din Hai. It's called the ice and snow, and the Lord has the power. It's very powerful. With full offensive and defensive capabilities, there is almost no weakness. So he's not worried about being targeted by that AI. More, with the cultivation from Yang Sheng base came. He can't seem weak either. Nguyen Din Hai patted Tran Tin Quan on the shoulder. You wait outside and I'll take care of everything. He glanced at the warning Chen, still Quan. This man is a master. Don't mess with him. Tran Still Kwong felt his body stiff. I have no choice but to nod yes. Hai with a cold face. Walk into the central building. In the heart, he is also very careful to observe everything around him. Chen looked at Theo with a nervous tongue. Not long after these two groups arrived. Next up is Zhang Yi and his team. From a distance, they saw cars and soldiers, realized that the people from the Yangtze and Zhao Yu bases have arrived. Before muttering, at the same time checking his gold-plated gun. It's not that we didn't meet. I hope these people can stay calm. In the recent war, Million Weapons base and Yang Sheng suffered 7 heavy. I'm afraid that, until now, they're all particularly hostile to Zhang Yi. In this negotiation, the relationship between the 5 houses is complicated, and a sentence doesn't lead to conflict. The police are ready to face them. As soon as Zhang and his team got out of the car, the atmosphere at the scene immediately became tense. As the bow has been stretched and the sword is ready to withdraw, soldiers of the Tide base and the Yang Flourishing base look at them with tense eyes, like it's about to explode, but it also harbors deep apprehension. They think silently. It's a translation campaign. After the Battle of the South, people have realized that group of translation has an extraordinarily strong fighting power. It shouldn't be easy to provoke them. Expand translation. With hand in pocket and holding gold-plated, der ego gun. Always remain on high alert. The appearance of him. The enemy couldn't help but pay more attention. The enemy had heard many rumors about Zhang Yi, and after knowing they're going to the Tianhai city, he find out more information related to Trong Duong. No matter what, this person from a miserable manager have built a career against many forces. Big and last, it became one of the 5 superpowers of the city. The ocean deserves attention. When Zhang Yi and his team go to the front of the central building, they also saw the path the enemy had opened. The movement realized that this move is just a warning. Let everyone who comes here know that. Messenger of the Great Zone, how strong is Jiang Nam? The enemy says you are the enemy. Go in yourself. Others should wait outside. I heard the voice of the enemy. There was a natural smile on Zhang's face. According to your will. I saw soldiers from 2 bases waiting outside. The agency knew this result. Whatever the reason for this negotiation, among the leaders of the great powers, there can't be too many people rushing in. Translation request view. The boss and the others waited outside for a while. If they get cold, they can sit in the car and wait. He slowly walked into the central building. The eyes of the enemy are constantly watching. They almost never take their eyes off. I feel a little uncomfortable with that look. Not every man likes to have one. The other man stared. He even began to doubt the sexual orientation of the enemy Wu. Please tell me which room the meeting is in. The enemy's face expressed regret. Is one of the leading mutants in the Jiangnam area. This is the first time he came to this city on a mission. So naturally, he wants to try out a top mutant here. He quickly replied to Zhang Yi. The conference room is on the 5th floor on the left, room 3, thank you. Zhang Yi laughed and left. Follow the instructions of the enemy to go upstairs. On the way up, he met some members of the investigation team. Each person standing in favorable positions in the castle. Easy to see in all directions, and be ready to assist in the event of conflict. I felt from them an exquisite air. He used to think, of course, those who are sent from the Jiangnan area, they're all outstanding characters. With those thoughts, Zhang Yi went to the meeting room that Wu enemy instructed. He opened the door and walked in. Spacious meeting room with a large red table in the center. When Zhang Yi walked in, everyone turned to look at him. There are 2 of them, familiar with red pepper training and falls high. They looked at Zhang Yi with apprehension, mixed with anger in his eyes. However, the most important thing to pay attention to is middle-aged man, wearing a black jacket and sunglasses, sitting in the presiding position. The translation wonder whether he's blind or not. They also wear sunglasses in the house. Zhang Yi felt funny in his heart. When you think about wearing sunglasses in a situation like this, it seems a little ridiculous, but he didn't rule out the possibility. This person has a special interest. Smile and introduce yourself. Hello. I am Trong Yi. What are your names? Based on the view that there should be no hostility. When we first met, the translator kept a friendly attitude and not being arrogant. The military can't help but respond. He dropped his arm and said coldly, my name is Border Force, in charge of investigating the zombie situation for the general area. Jiang Nam this time tried to laugh. Turns out, CA, it's nice to meet you. After a polite greeting, find a seat and say nothing more. Everyone was silent. No one said anything else. They're not here to talk. That everyone has a purpose. They're just waiting for the other two groups to arrive. We can start the conversation. A while later, you also come to the meeting room. He's laughing. It's a little slow. Excuse me. The military replied. Just sit. And then he sat near the hospital, and his old classmate was okay. I've been with you lately. Difficult to kill zombies with killer mice. It must have made you suffer a lot. Frowning, the voice became low. Don't mention it. Every day we have to clean that up. It's going to bore me. He sat on the sofa and sighed for an hour. If it continues like this, my hiding place won't last long. Trong Yi is also in trouble. The base leader's eyes flashed with joy. He can't stand it either. The leaders thought silently. Even though they're in bad shape. But if everyone's the same, they feel more balanced. The translation is uncertain, but he felt after saying those words. The soldier's eyes seemed to glance this way. However, the military is wearing sunglasses. People couldn't see his eyes. Maybe it's just an illusion. In the 5 great powers, a group of people from the snow, they were the last to arrive. That person is not a Catholic. It's the great sacrifice of Zheng Yat first. This, it doesn't make people feel anything strange. Even if you don't, often do not manage the problems in the cult. Zhang Yi looked at Zheng first thought silently. Again, he shows up. I don't see the snow inside. They will not manage anything. Not even with the experience of Zheng Yat first. Zheng Jingxian politely greeted the armed forces, then find a seat. Armed soldiers, I've noticed that all the 5 great powers have come full circle. Put up your sleeves and look at the clock. Very good, no AI is late. His voice is cold, as if emanating from the crevices of the snow and ice. It makes the listener feel uncomfortable. Then, the armed man put his hands firmly on the table. Look at the people around you. With the zombie outbreak in Tianhai City, you guys are like that. The greatest force here can't escape responsibility. This word, to take the expression on people's faces seriously. Frowning at the corners of his mouth appeared thoughtful. Do you know? What does it mean to build a shelter? The sermon we're not talking about for the time being. They belong to folk organizations. But you, 4 big powerhouses, or directly occupy the shelters that the government has built, or inherited most of the resources from those shelters. Each shelter, its purpose is to maintain local stability when the city is in danger. Fei Zhenyu seems sarcastic on the corner of his mouth. It's getting clearer. You have appropriated the most precious resources. They are not responsible for protecting peace. It's not impotence. It's what it is. False C. The most business people disagree. The teacher said this is easy to hear. Do SAO. We don't want to keep the city stable. Tianhai. Like this disaster is too big. It appeared suddenly, and there were countless zombies causing chaos everywhere. Relying only on the force in hand, we can't deal with the risk at all. This time, even though SAO, we are not like the Jiangnan area. They do not have a large number of powerful weapons, or the nation's most elite corps. After the High Wei Dao finished speaking, the eyes of the armed forces became sharper. He even hugged his arm and laughed, without abstaining. Ha ha ha. Then he said in a cold voice, if you're not able to deal with the risk, this time, from now on, obediently obey my orders. This time I will take over the role. Mission Commander against zombies. Each of your powers, you must obey my orders unconditionally. People's expressions are constantly changing. Zhang Yi's eyes also flashed a sharp ray. He really has to obey the orders of others, without the SAO option. This is impossible. Although the enemy is it the power of the Jiangnan area? Either way, he can't accept it. No way. If you obey the orders of others, he will face the risk of death. Zheng Yat first spoke up. We can't accept this. The sky also continues. Although the Jiangnam area is in a high position, but you're just a few people. They want to lead us. It's too easy to underestimate us. Red wine for you to say. Only if you send a large army. That we can consider. Leaders of the forces cannot accept their power is taken over by others. This is just a small team. It's also unclear what their capabilities are. The army said with sarcasm. You think I am not qualified, right? The armed forces asked. Then you can use your power. Solve the risk this time. After the border guards asked everyone to be quiet for a while. The continuous attacks of zombies, and the rats gave them a lot of headaches. And no one's sure about this. Even though SAO doesn't know the scale of zombies. And how big are the rats? The Lord said in a mocking voice, you are incapable of protecting the city of Tianhai in an efficient manner and also let zombies LAN spread to surrounding cities. It affects the residents of other cities. You hold too little power in your hands. Refuse to let go. The soldiers banged against the table and startled everyone. He urged you to remember this. The city of heaven is not your own. The nation is still standing. And the Jiangnam area, it is the most powerful command center in the region. Jiangnam. The military stood up from his chair. Even though he seems thin, but exudes a very high majesty. He carried it on himself, a strong military atmosphere. A feeling that Zhang Yi, it can only be felt on the skin. He said with an arrogant attitude, I'm here to represent the Jiangnan region. What I'm talking about is the will of the Jiangnan region. If you do not obey my orders, the consequences will not be. You can bear it. Before his words, the police kept silent and said nothing. His power is limited to a small group of people. So if you have to give up command, the damage will be minimal. Not like other great powers. They have large populations or resources. But no one wants to lose control. That would put him and the people around him into a dangerous situation. Pink Pepper cross-training smiling hands. If we do not obey, you are sending troops to destroy us. You are also afraid in your heart, but because this is a time of negotiation, she is determined to fight for her good. Even though SAO once power has been ceded, it will be very difficult to get it back. And others are worried that if the franchise, they will become a dependent part of the region. Jiangnan in the future. Loss of self-control. The armed forces wearing sunglasses towards the red pepper training. Silently observe her attentively. In about 10 seconds. Red said it coldly. You want to scare me. The military opened its mouth slowly. Do you think that? The current situation is not serious enough. You feel that? The incident this time, it has to do with your city. Why? While the leaders let you think, the border force continued. I'll be honest with you. The purpose of our investigation is twofold. The genie didn't say anything. I heard the border force say. The first goal. Do your best with local power. To solve the zombie threat. Maybe let the situation get worse, transferring LAN to other cities. The second goal. If you find out that the problem is out of control, there's no way to solve the problem. Zombies buy human resources. Then the soldiers stopped suddenly. Then slowly sit down in your chair. Maybe give up the whole city of Tianhai. The Lord spoke in a calm, cold voice. However, in the hearts of the leaders of the 5 great powers, it's as cold as the state. Swallowing fluid can't help but swallow saliva. His eyes became serious, and he thought. It's really like that. He thought about this situation. If the zombie danger in Tianhai City become too serious, and there's a tendency for LAN to expand to surrounding cities, then giving up will be the best choice for Jiangnan area. It's like the human body has an ulcer. If it can't be treated with medication, there's only one way to do it. So the border patrol is actually a drug. But if this drug loses its effectiveness, the next step is surgery. The epidemic felt trembling. If so, the entire city of Tianhai will no longer exist. He absolutely did not want to face such consequences. Others also understand the intentions of the armed forces. For a while, and everyone fell silent. Even Red Pepper, even the quick-tempered can't argue. The South China Sea could easily destroy them. Just a small gesture. One button can solve everything. The military is very pleased with everyone's reaction. He said it coldly from now on. The entire armed forces of the powers in Tianhai City all must obey our orders. Not conditional. Red Pepper, the sea and the sky have complicated eyes. But now, they're really not qualified to confront the Jiangnan area. So be quiet. At this moment, Zhang Yi slowly spoke. I am willing to support your actions. But as you said, the investigation team is here because indigenous forces can't solve the zombie problem and the rats. So, you can't help but intervene and command them. However, if we can solve the problem ourselves, within the VI of his power, then why? The armed forces watch Trong Yip carefully because he wears glasses, so don't let out your eyes. Pepper Pink practiced laughing ironically. Trong translated your words as what do you mean? Don't tell me that. Only by those in your shelters can deal with large numbers of zombies and mice.